Welcome to the Enlightenment space, a place of evolving consciousness and awareness and connections, of which you are within that. Risho Grand Venjyon Hyun So Irishna Kla Vendimran Sokyonari Sanshahid Venom Ka Van Lu Shadiven No Kat Nishna Vaklanyan Vi Yo Dam Vanibra Kran Shadiven Okrasa Sanchori Veniba Grand A Kienor Varshi Al Ro Kusho No Verebro Cambiana Koshadiven Clan O Gari Vishna Clandu Brasha Vinibra Kura Shaka Indiam no Clan Shadi Visha. We are living in such a troubled world. It seems that every way you turn, there's something else off. I don't want to say going wrong, because life is always right. It's just difficult to understand that rightness very often. The intellect says, how can this be right? The intellect is limited in its ability to see beyond really the moment. So to be able to see consequences of things, to me, seems to be very helpful. Because then one sees not trouble, but transformation. So why not just start seeing everything around us in a state of transformation, change? It's like a sprout that comes up. You don't recall planting it, so you're not sure what it is. And so you dig it up and throw it away. No. You leave it there. Let it grow. See what it grows into. You can always cut it down later on. So why not? Instead of panicking over the world situations, see them as sprouts coming up. And trust that life itself will wield the axe to remove things that don't belong. So we see we can begin to live in a state of allowing and trusting what is. And it takes so much less energy to allow and trust what is, if, providing you can keep the intellect out of it, making up, oh, this is happening, oh, that is happening, this is going to happen, that might happen. We live in a might happen universe. We really don't know what the next turn is. But when we are in touch, in our heart with ourselves, we live fearlessly in this world that appears to be in utter chaos and calamities. For the media is always saying, this is happening, that's going to happen, this has happened, that might happen. So we live in a world of predictions. This is happening, maybe, maybe not. So to find the balance in a world of chaos begins with you, the balance within yourself. And balance can come to you within yourself as you are able to allow whatever is, and not allow the intellect to interpret it or to make something of it. It's kind of like waiting on a plant, a sprout coming up. Wait to see what it's going to be. You may be surprised. It might be something wonderful. Might not, but you don't know. If you chop it down right away, you'll never know. So we have to allow life to run its course. Even though we don't like it, or appreciate it, or maybe fearful of it. In that state of mind, you're lacking your present awareness, that is the consciousness itself. For the consciousness itself is not disturbed or tortured or tormented by the things around it. It's like an all-seeing eye that looks beyond the circumstances and situations, saying, wait and see, just wait and see. What's next in this storyline? So many people, they read between the lines, predicting this or predicting that, saying this, saying that. And when you look back at these things that are said, how many of them were accurate? For when one speaks from a place of fear, one is not speaking truth, but is speaking belief. And we know there's so many beliefs around us. Humanity is programmed with beliefs, concepts, creates conditioning. And we know the difficulty of breaking through our conditioning. We are conditioned to be fearful. We are conditioned to be doubtful. We are conditioned to be. You can fill in the blank space. But then we realize that we are not our conditioning. That is like a suit that you wear, some clothing you have on, but you can take off. So we are free to become and be the consciousness itself in every situation. It simply takes the determination of the being to say, no, I'm not going to respond or react to the outside. I will only respond to my heart, my awareness, the truth that I know within myself, the truth that is this whole body that is in a state of becoming. So when you rely on that, you don't live in fear or anxiety. You're not angry. But you're not even looking forward to things because you know in unfolding, life is happening. And you are life happening. And life is intelligent. It's not just a mistake. It's not just a bunch of jumbled things shoved together. There's an ultimate purpose underlying all experience. And our possibilities and hopes and fears and doubts, all embodied within that. We begin to have a clarity that we live by. We live in this clarity moment by moment, realizing that we are something and we are on purpose and we are on course, of course, and we are in balance because that is the nature of the consciousness that you are becoming. That is its nature, its true nature. So, when the world troubles you, look at the troubles of the world and see the cause of those troubles. How much of them are made up, coming from fear, what ifs, not an actuality of the present, but something else running amok in the world around us. So we live and have our being in the consciousness itself. And when you know that you are the consciousness, this embodiment of consciousness in this spark of awareness, this life force, you kind of ride the waves around you. You don't sink into them. You float. You learn to float above the harsh expectations and appearances and realities of the world around us. We float. We rise above the conditions and circumstances that create chaos and fear. So we live in a state of harmony and peace. Peace within ourselves. And something, when one can hold that space, others can partake of it. Others can feel it. Others can realize within themselves that same state of peace, of being and allowing. So we are, in a sense, in examples of what the higher consciousness has become and is available for all to partake. Takes a willingness, a surrender, and allowing. Life is full of allowing. You allow this, you allow that, you allow the other thing. But you don't put anything in a priority out of fear or anger. Only statements that are safe to make are statements that come from a place of harmony and balance and love in this consciousness. So we have a way to measure things around us. We have a way to look at the world around us when we look through the eyes of pure awareness of the consciousness itself, seeing the unfolding taking place and trusting that life itself is the very presence of consciousness and is happening moment by moment. And you are life. So you are the consciousness happening moment by moment. So there we are, beings of light and awareness, beings of transcendence, beings of peace and harmony, beings of knowing, knowing and knowing and knowing. Life itself unfolds.
Johanna says, trusting life to be a perfect gardener. Thank you. Much love.
Thank you, Johanna. Very good.
And Shantara says, thanks, Ishvara.
You're welcome.
Todd says, beautiful and empowering message. Thank you, Ishvara.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. And I hold you in this awareness so that you may know from the very core of your being the real truth of this life. Thank you for your love and your support.